Welcome to the Fearless Entrepreneurs Podcast, where we share the incredible stories of Canada's boldest business owners. I'm your host, Cindy Chang, founder of Evolve Consulting Co. Join us as we explore the stories behind why these entrepreneurs started their businesses, the challenges that they faced, and how they leaned into their fears. So whether you're an entrepreneur or just love inspiring stories, let's take a deep dive into their journeys. Let's go. Welcome, Laila Jazar, to the show.
Thank you.
Laila, you are just such a breath of fresh air, and I am so excited that you're here today. Laila owns Laila Cheesecake Co., which is a business that started in 2017 during a pregnancy craving she was having.
Yes.
And since then, she's turned it into a successful handcrafted cheesecake business. It's located in Burlington, Ontario. She's a mom of three girls.
Yeah,
three girls, 11, 10, and 7. She opened up her first storefront in Burlington in 2021 during the height of COVID.
Yeah.
You've done so many things, from selling at the Tim Hortons Stadium for Ticats games, Nordstrom's, the One Awards. I've been following your journey since the very beginning, since I was ordering your cheesecakes on the Facebook Moms group.
Yeah.
Oakville Moms group, shout out right there. To watch then your success blossom to a point where then you opened up a storefront.
Yeah.
It made my heart so happy.
Thank you.
Like so genuinely happy, right?
Yeah.
And so I needed to have you on the show because your story was just such an inspiration, from how you started it to how you got here today. And it is always sold out. I can't get the flavors that I want by the time I go in at 3 or 4 because it is sold out, right?
Well, I appreciate that. I know we do sell out, but the sold out journey has taught me so much, and that experience has taught me so much. But also, thank you for having me here. I'm so excited.
Yes.
This is my first podcast. For me.
For those who don't know you, your energy is so vivacious, and just to know that that's behind your brand and how passionate you are, I can't wait to dig into all of it.
Yes,
okay?
I'm excited too.
So take us back, Laila, to how this all began for you.
So in 2017, I was pregnant with my third daughter.
Okay.
And I remember having very strong cheesecake cravings. I love cheesecake. I love it so much.
Yeah.
It's my favorite dessert. But I started making it. And I would eat, and anyone who buys my cheesecake,
Yeah.
if you buy a 9-inch, you know how massive that cheesecake is.
Yes.
I would make a 9-inch blueberry cheesecake once a week, and I would eat the entire thing.
Oh my God.
And then that baby came out 10 pounds. Her name is Emma. And I said to my midwife, is it the cheesecake? Is that why she's so big? And she said, no, it's not the cheesecake. I'm still convinced it's the cheesecake.
Well, one a week is
One a week. All on my own. It was delicious, and I have no regrets. And that baby now loves blueberry cheesecake, which is hilarious. I should have named her Blueberry. Loves it. When I started making it and I started serving it to friends and family, which I know a lot of people who get into baking or the food industry do, I saw the reactions on their faces, and they were just like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, well, it's homemade, it's fresh, of course. And then my husband really encouraged me to start a business.
Okay.
And I thought, that is crazy, so silly. Who's going to buy cheesecake from me? Who would buy cheesecake from Laila? That doesn't that didn't add up in my brain.
Because you're not a baker.
I didn't go to school for baking, not even business. I did my master's in political science.
Goodness.
I was more in the human rights route. I wanted to save the world. And then I said, you know what? He's right. What do I have to lose?
Right.
So I got licensed from home, registered the business in August of 2017.
Okay.
And then I started sharing my business on social media. I launched my Instagram page. I started doing little markets. My very first market was in Burlington.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
Burlington made.
Yeah.
And I think it still exists now. And I sold out. And I remember feeling, what just happened?
Oh my gosh,
And
how validating.
Yes.
Hey?
And so, again, the social media really was very important. It helped me grow my business. The mom groups, all sorts of Facebook groups that were really launching and getting a lot of momentum, especially for people our age group who were just having kids. And I remember getting 10 orders in 1 week and being like, how am I going to do 10 orders?
Yeah.
And I look back now and I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's so funny to see the evolution of the business and how much you did then compared to now and what you've learned and how you've grown.
It's crazy.
It's insane. And then I started emailing cafes to see if they'd wholesale my cheesecake. And a few did. That was so exciting for me, so new.
Incredible.
And then I started selling at the Tim Hortons Stadium,
at
the Cat games. And that was insane to me. And that did really well. And then COVID hit.
Right.
Years later. And I was like, I have to stop this. But what happened during COVID was there was an enormous amount of Facebook groups launching that were supporting local restaurants.
Right.
Because we knew as a community that without people buying food from them, they wouldn't survive, especially dine-in restaurants. Yeah. So those groups started launching and someone had shared my page and people started insanely messaging me like, I need cheesecake. I think during COVID, people really wanted to eat. It was depressing, right? To be home, to not be able to be social.
Eat our feelings.
We ate our feelings and it was crazy. I remember waking up the next morning and having 100 messages on Facebook and being like, how am I going to do this? So,
and at this point, it was still in your home, right?
Stopped the home side of it and I started renting a kitchen.
Got it.
And I had to because it was such an enormous amount of feedback from these groups. And I had to be able to produce a lot more.
Yeah.
And then I was like, let's try this storefront out. And I looked and I searched and I found a place. And mind you, during COVID, things were a little less expensive because people weren't renting retail space.
Because everything was shut down.
Businesses
were
like, I'm not opening up. And I had opened it up. January 10th, 2021, we opened our doors officially.
Oh, my goodness.
And I remember the line around the plaza. And I remember I had prepped for this for the whole week because I wanted my cheesecake to be as fresh as possible so I could only make it so close to the date, right? Yeah. And we sold out everything.
Why am I not surprised?
And it was crazy. And then the next day, I was like, okay, well, I had to make more that day after selling out for the next day.
Yeah.
And then and it just kept spiraling out of control. And also what happened was I was selling out every single day. At that point, there was only 3 of us.
Yeah.
And so it was absolutely insane. Yeah. I do remember thinking 6 months into opening the store, why didn't I do this sooner? And that's one thing that I always tell and encourage entrepreneurs who come to me and they're like, what do you think? I always say, I don't think you'll ever regret taking a step forward.
Right.
I don't.
Yeah.
I think what you'll find most of the time is that you wonder why you didn't do it sooner.
What was holding you back?
Oh, it was the fear. It was the fear of failure, for sure. I'm always someone who's super ambitious, and I have really high expectations and standards for myself.
Yeah.
So the goal was, if I'm going to do it, I have to do it big.
Yeah.
And it's gotten big, and I'm so grateful for that. But there was the fear that it would fail, but I kept telling myself, hey, you won't let it fail.
Yeah.
You will do what it takes to make it succeed.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But
that's true.
Would I regret trying or not trying?
Exactly.
I'd regret not trying more than trying. I think that's anything in life.
Yeah.
And so that's what I always encourage entrepreneurs who come to me and they're like, should I take the storefront? Should I open it? I always say, I don't think you'll regret it.
Right.
Because you're going to put your heart into it. You're going to do everything you possibly can to make it succeed.
The blood, sweat, and tears, right?
Absolutely.
Sweat equity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And every time you have more invested, the more you ensure you take roots or do what is necessary to make it work.
Right. That's honestly so incredible, Laila. And let's take it back a little bit to baking wasn't your thing.
No.
It wasn't something that you aspired to be.
No.
So what was your career path prior to
I wanted
Laila?
to be a professor.
Okay.
I wanted to be a professor. I love school. And if I could have been a career student, I would have. I just learned once my 3rd kid came around, that probably wasn't going to help us pay bills. Unfortunately, as much as I would love to have done that, I did want to be a professor. I love everything to do with human rights and what's happening in the world. Okay. And I'm a very passionate advocate for equality. But I learned there's nothing stopping me from participating in those things in my spare time and advocating and fundraising through my business for things that are important to me.
Absolutely.
Right? While also creating a business that was part of the community. So there's things that business does bring to life for me in what I used to want to do.
Yeah.
Regardless, I get the benefit of that as well.
I think that is so different than what you currently do now.
So different. Like with baking, everything is self-taught and has been self-taught for me. I know what I like, and I am a sweet tooth through and through.
Are you? I was going to ask.
Dessert for breakfast, lunch, and dinner if no one stopped me. Because people do try to stop me. I could eat it, and I do at my store. There's days where I'm like, did I eat anything but cheesecake today? Nope. I love sugar. My dentist loved me as a kid and as an adult, but they always tell me, you need to stop eating that much sugar. I love it.
No way. So you've had a sweet tooth your entire life.
Some people prefer salt.
Yeah.
I much prefer sugar.
Sugar, yeah.
And I love it. So I love dessert. And so this is like a dream.
Do you eat cheesecake every day?
I do. I love that. What? I always tell people, I want to be sick of it. From 2017 to now, I wish I was sick of it.
Yeah.
The thing is, the reason I'm not is because there's so many flavors. So every time I have a new flavor, it's like eating a brand new dessert.
Right.
It's not like eating the same old dessert.
Yeah.
You have a different flavor. Having a chocolate cheesecake is a different experience than having a strawberry cheesecake.
And that probably helped you refine your recipe for cheesecake, right?
Absolutely.
Because you're such a sweet tooth.
Absolutely.
You became a sweet tooth connoisseur.
Yeah.
So how did you start finding your recipe or finding your special sauce?
I played around with so many different recipes.
Yeah.
And I knew what I started to like about certain cheesecakes and not like about others.
Okay.
I naturally, even though I have a sweet tooth, I don't want the dessert to be overly sweet because I want to eat a lot of it.
So you don't want it to be so rich.
Absolutely. Where you're like 1 or 2 bites, that's way too much. I want to eat the whole thing. And I knew I wanted good, wholesome ingredients. Yeah. And I knew I wanted to feed people what I would want to feed my family or myself.
Right.
So same standard for my family and for the public. When we talk about cheesecake, mine specifically, I use whole ingredients. There's probably a handful of ingredients in the cheesecake. But when we're making our fruit sauces, we use organic sugar. We use organic fruits. Right. We're making it fresh every single day. We really like to season things with like lemon juice or zest to bring flavors out and to make them pop.
Yeah.
We use local peaches. Right now we have peaches in season. So we're like peeling and chopping peaches and making that peach sauce, which is so delicious.
Yeah.
I make everything from scratch because I really want to feed you really high quality product. There's no preservatives in anything that we make. And our cheesecake isn't really thick and dense.
Correct.
It's light and it's fluffy. And you're like, am I eating cheesecake? And then you eat the whole thing. You're like, did I just actually eat cheesecake?
Yes.
But it's got flavor. Like our vanilla is like pure Madagascar vanilla. We use really good, high quality
ingredients.
And we make it every day. It's not sitting in the fridge so that you can take it and you can keep it in your fridge if you need to save it for a week or so. I knew what I wanted in a dessert.
Yeah.
Not something overly sweet, something sweet enough, but not overly sweet. And I think that really hit home with a lot of our customers because they're like, I could eat the whole thing and not feel like I'm eating a thick cheesecake.
Yeah.
You needed a glass of water after every bite.
I did feel that it's so fluffy. And typically, I'm not a sweet tooth person.
Yes.
I'm a savory tooth person.
Right.
So it takes a lot for me to eat dessert.
Yes.
And I can just gobble your cheesecakes up. It's very conflicting for me as a person because I'm like, I typically crave like wings and chips, and I just can't get enough of your cheesecakes. I bring it to parties. I bring it for birthdays, baby showers. They are such a hit every single time that I go. And that word of mouth spreads like fire.
The best referral is someone saying, my friend told me about it. Someone said that this place is amazing. I had it at a party. You, as my customer, are using your word, which can have a high impact on someone else.
Yeah.
If you tell someone they're trusting you, you're using your word to spread the name of my business.
Yeah.
And I take that as the biggest compliment. If I tell someone something's good, I'm not telling them just for the sake of it because I truly believe it. Right. So that's the best referral.
And I think as humans, we would be the first ones to say if something is bad.
Exactly.
Right?
It's so easy to say something is bad or not good enough.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. We're always there to complain first as human beings.
The negative always trumps. And it always comes, for some reason, the first thing you hear is the negative part of it. So that someone's word and them saying, I love this cheesecake or this place is the highest form of referral for me.
And so, Laila, you should really take a moment to take that in because you have built your business straight on positive, amazing referrals of people that love your product.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's such a compliment, and I hope that stays true. And I really want people to love the product they're buying. If someone has something to say about it, I'm always open and all ears for it because I want them to love what they're getting. Because if they love it, they're going to tell everybody about it, or they're going to share it, or they're going to buy it for their next event.
Absolutely. So you have 3 pretty little girls, preteen. And so how is it being a mom and juggling being an entrepreneur?
Ooh, so it's tough because your business takes the role of a child, essentially. It's
your baby.
It's my baby. I birthed it along with this last baby that I had when I started it.
All 10 pounds of her.
Exactly. So I birthed this business and I'm the mother of it. It's like having another child, and your heart can love hundreds of children and businesses, but your brain can only take so much.
Interesting. Yeah.
So I struggled when I did not have the store because it was just me. But once I opened the store and I was able to hire people and I learned the art of delegating, even though it's very difficult as an entrepreneur, especially because I think that we tend to have control issues and your standards are very high. Once I did that, that was very helpful. It gave me a little bit of my life back, right? As much as the storefront demanded a lot from me, I was able to step away at moments to be with my children. But I definitely did not do that alone. Being a mom could take up your entire day without help. I have great family that was super helpful. It definitely took a village because there's no way I could have done this and grown it without the help of my family and my husband and everyone who stepped in to make sure the kids got what they need while I wasn't there, because my kids are very attached to me.
For sure.
Right? And they do want to be around me all the time. They've also watched me grow this business. And I think there's some beauty in that for these 3 little girls who've watched me grow it from outside of a retail front to this store now.
Because they were little, right? When this business started, you had just had your 3rd, but your other girls were just teeny tiny tots.
They were just elementary, maybe 6 or 7. But as they got older, I guess they started to notice the impact, and people would say to them at school, "Can I have cheesecake?" And now they use it. My youngest one, apparently, she'll just go up to her friends and be like, "No cheesecake for you." And I'm like,
She uses it as a weapon.
She does. Because her friends tell her how much they love it because their families are buying it.
For sure.
And so when you're in this Burlington community, which is tight-knit and it's small, people really do get to know you. And that's at school for the girls. They like leverage it. They're like, my mom's Laila. It's such a cute thing. But then I'm just at pickup all disheveled because I'm running
cheesecake all over you.
I picked up my kids with cheesecake on my glasses. Being a mom is, of course, difficult. Even with a full-time job, it's difficult. I'd say that most moms around the world can agree that it is easier when you have some help. And it's impossible to do multiple things without that help.
And it's okay to ask for help. I think that's where a lot of moms get into this pitfall where they struggle to ask for help.
Yes.
And they want to do it all, which is heroic, but it's also kind of dumb because you can't achieve anything unless you have a village to be able to help you create it.
Absolutely. It's the same thing from a business perspective. You can't run the entire show alone. You need help. And you hire that help. And that can also be difficult. I can be very stubborn to assume that I can do it all. But at some point you learn along the way, something has got to give.
For sure.
Right? And whether that's your own health that you sacrifice, time away from your family, there is a sacrifice happening when you try to do it alone.
For sure.
So really leveraging help, whether it's hired or not, or on the personal side, if it's hiring through your store or your business, that is going to be helpful. That there's going to be benefit to that no matter what, and you can't grow without it.
Absolutely. Let's talk about hiring since we're on there because it is my favorite topic. As a recruiter, it's what I do all day long. And it's one of my most favorite topics with entrepreneurs because you open up this business and it's just you and you're doing everything. You're making the cheesecake, you're doing the customer service, the website, the marketing, the Instagram. You're doing everything. You're the person that wears all the hats.
All the hats.
And so what was important to you in your first hires to be able to let go some of it? I need to bring on people, and this is the people I need to bring on.
Boy, I remember when I first opened and I was selling out like crazy.
Yeah.
I would cry in the morning to one of my bakers and be like, I can't do this for the rest of my life. This is impossible, because I was wearing all the hats. I was running back and forth from the back to the front. And also we were only curbside. So I would take a call. They'd tell me they're here.
Yeah.
I would run outside and I would run back. It was not fun, for sure. But that time passed. And that was something I kept reminding myself, that the time would pass.
Right.
And then when I started looking at what was beneficial for me, for sure, first and foremost, was having someone out front that can help my customers. So I really leveraged people with good customer service skills.
Great.
The one thing I've learned in hiring people is that I look for their personality, because I cannot teach personality.
Correct.
I can teach all the skills. I can teach you how to bake brownies. I can teach you how to put a cheesecake in. I can teach you how to top a cheesecake.
Yeah.
No problem. I can't teach you how to be with people and interact with people.
Yeah. Soft skills.
Exactly. It has to come naturally. So that's definitely what I look for when I hire people. So having someone help me with the customer service side of things was important, but I was stubborn because I just didn't think anyone would treat my customers the way I did.
Right.
But I learned that there are amazing, incredible people that will. And I did, and I hired that. And then the second thing I looked for were people who had those baking skills and techniques, things that they taught me as someone who was not a baker by trade.
Yeah.
So I hired a fantastic baker who was the manager at Longo's Bakery for a while. She's also a really great friend, which really worked out to be so beautiful for me. And I've learned so much from her.
Incredible.
On the baking side of things. So people who can teach me things, because I'm humble. I do not ever assume that I can do everything or know how to do everything.
Yeah.
And once you accept that, I think as the business owner, the entrepreneur, it really opens the doors for you, because you're allowing people to teach you things.
Absolutely.
And so that's something that I looked for. So those two things, and hiring specifically for those two parts of my business, really had such a huge impact. And I was able to step away from certain things and then focus on more of the growth side.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was what I looked for.
And so how many staff do you have currently now?
Ooh, at the time, right now I have about 10.
Wow.
I know. And they're an amazing team, amazing group of people. There's times where I've had more and there's times where I've had less.
Sure.
Right.
Ebbs
I'm just hiring 2 new people right now. And hiring's scary because they're learning, so they are going to make mistakes. And that's what I expect, because that's how I know that they're learning.
Yes.
And they're trying.
Yeah.
If they're not trying, they're not making mistakes. I need people who are trying. And if they're going to make mistakes, that's okay. I'm okay with it. No one's perfect. But it is scary, the new hire phase, because you're teaching them everything and you don't want mistakes, but they will happen as they learn, right?
Yeah,
but
it's inevitable, right? No human is going to come without mistakes.
All the time.
What you said is so important for hiring, because it's not only you want to give people an opportunity, but you also want to hire people that give you the opportunity to learn. And that creates a really beautiful triangle.
That's more of a partner.
Yeah.
I always say, as a manager and managing a group of people, I never want to use my power as a manager to take advantage of anyone.
Correct.
I want them to feel like, hey, I can contribute. I have a say. My ideas are valuable and important. Laila will listen to them. I never want them to feel like they're inferior, because if they feel like they're part of something, then they're more likely to give that role their all. All the employees I have right now, honestly, they treat the business like it's their own as well, which is a beautiful experience. I know it doesn't come around often. I treat them well so that they stick around, hopefully, and I really want them to feel special, and they are. The business would not be where it is without all of them. They're incredible.
That you sound like an amazing manager.
I hope they feel that way.
To all those listening, you're appreciated. You were selling at Tim Hortons stadiums, Nordstrom's. How did you pioneer getting into places?
So I think what was happening was someone had tried my product and they worked for the Tim Hortons Stadium for the Ticats. And they sent me an email. Exactly. Yeah. And also a customer bought my cheesecake from a local cafe, and that person was the buyer for Nordstrom for the GTA.
Yeah.
So on both ends of the spectrum there, we had 2 people who had tried my product, thought it was delicious and great, and thought it was good enough to refer my cheesecake to be sold at their respective business. And so that's how that came about. And every time I got an email like that, I was always so honored. I was like, really? That's amazing. And I think some of the hurdles that I started, I would say, is pricing. Because I had a pricing from a wholesale side, and I had to make sure I had pricing correctly from the retail side. And for a product that uses really high quality ingredients, that can be really tricky.
Because you're spending a lot of money on materials and ingredients.
Exactly. So when I was doing it on my own and doing it at home, I definitely didn't value my time. I don't think I was paying myself for the time I was putting into it.
Interesting. Yes.
I was really just trying to cover my costs and make a little bit of money. And looking back, that was probably my biggest mistake. It was the fear that someone would reject my product because they thought it was too much. But now knowing the value of my time, and especially because I have to pay labor, I truly understand how grossly underpaid I was when I was doing it from home.
Yeah. And brick and mortar costs, a lot of overhead
absolutely.
costs.
A business that bakes from home at that time, I didn't value that. I undervalued it. And I just wanted people to be happy with what they were getting and less of how am I going to make money off of this. Yeah. But with the brick and mortar, I definitely learned that I need to make sure I'm able to pay my labor and pay my rent and pay my everything. I know now that I'm not overcharging in any way. I'm being fair. Yeah. Because I do want it to be affordable for my customers, which is why I offer other things than just these jars.
Yes, you have the squares,
I have
you
slices,
have the jars.
I have cakes. I have so many different options that make it affordable for everybody. And I hope that people feel that's the case. These glass jars, glass is expensive,
for sure.
Right? And there's so much more labor that goes into them. But the pricing for sure was the biggest hurdle. Yeah. But I'd say I'm much more confident in my ability to price fairly to the business and to the consumer.
I think you're fairly priced for, I mean, you can tell just by your sold out, where people are still coming back for it. And you can taste the quality in the ingredients.
That's what I want.
You're not just throwing powdered syrup in there. You can taste the strawberries. Yeah. You can taste the blueberries. And for my husband, he's a total sweet tooth. He doesn't even like fruit, but he loves to go for the blueberry. When I showed him the list you sent me, yes, blueberry.
Blueberry.
That's
favorite
so
too.
weird
Blueberry.
because you would never choose blueberry normally. You can taste the blueberries. And with the rising cost of groceries, I'm sure that hasn't been easy for you to manage your pricing either.
Absolutely not. And dairy especially, my goodness, it's gotten so much higher. And then we have chocolate.
Yeah.
And then we have things like pistachio butters, the nuts, the chocolate, the fruit, everything has gone up. I do my best to maintain the price. It's a difficult thing as a business owner to be like, you have to pay this much for my product. It's still, the insecurity does come along with it, but the confidence in being able to price and know that this is fair, that's something I've learned along the way.
Have you done price increases because of the product cost rising? Yeah, that makes sense.
I have, and I've had to, because from the time I opened the store in 2021 to date, dairy's gone up significantly and my costs have gone up 30%. It's insane. When we talk about my ingredients, I'm not using refined sugar. I'm using organic sugar. So the cost of that sugar itself is much higher. I hope people find value in what they're paying for. And that's really important to me.
You know, Laila, I don't even think they're just buying a cheesecake. I feel like when people are having your cheesecakes, it almost comes with an experience.
Yes.
You share it amongst friends, which is an experience. And I don't feel like I'm just buying something from Longo's or buying something from Fortino's.
Yes.
I'm buying something that people talk about, and it's almost like a centerpiece to the experience that you're having. Truly.
I really am humbled when people have it for their weddings and their events. This is amazing. Like, what a great ability for me to be part of something so memorable. Yeah. And I've had experiences where people are like, my family member is in the hospital and they maybe have a week left to live. And when I asked them what they wanted, they said they wanted Laila's cheesecake. And I've cried at the store. I've cried. I've had some beautiful experiences through the business for sure that humbles me all the time.
Isn't that incredible?
It is.
When you feel the beautiful side of people, through the experiences.
Absolutely.
It really humbles you, doesn't it?
It reminds you that life is still happening outside of that store.
Absolutely.
And the world, it just keeps turning.
You've had a super successful business so far, and rightfully so. The cheesecakes are to die for. What were some of those moments that were just so difficult? What are some of those moments that just put your arms up and I don't know what to do next?
There's so many moments like that have happened from the moment that I opened my storefront in 2021. There's been plenty of moments like that. The one thing that has been consistent across the board every time I've had a moment like that is that it passes. So my brain immediately goes into complete panic. If I have an employee who is leaving, if I have to deal with a difficult situation, I just am like, why did I do this to myself? Mm-hmm. But I always have this rule where give yourself 24 hours.
Okay.
Sleep on it, and then see how you feel the next day. And the next day, it's better. And then once you feel more level-headed about what's happened, you're able to come up with a plan, and you realize it's not as bad as it was in that minute after it happened. Mm-hmm. But there have been moments where, for example, I wasn't able to get glass jars because after COVID, Bernardin wasn't able to keep up with the demand of mason jars. That's who I was buying my jars from. I would go to all the
people were pickling?
I don't know. I don't know if it was
because people were buying your cheesecakes.
Maybe it was me buying all the cheesecake jars. Absolutely. And so that I would run around everywhere looking for jars. And what came along was a company that makes my jars for me now. It's always not as bad, and there's always a solution. So I try to remind myself of that. It's really hard because as humans, the negative just sucks you in. Yeah. But if you're able to give yourself some time, it is always short-lived, and you come out and I survived that. I survived moments where my fridge shut off in the middle of the night and I had nothing to sell.
Yeah.
I survived it.
Yeah.
Right? By explaining to customers, you make do with what you have and you do your best. That's all you can do. You just do your best.
I think your personality is rare. I'd like to say you're such a positive glass half full kind of person.
Yes.
And I think that's what makes you so refreshing. Even if I ask you questions, you're like, I see the positive in things,
I do.
Right?
That's natural. For me, my brain is wired that way, and I am grateful for it because I do know that negativity can be, again, it can suck you in and it can take you deep. Yeah. I always look to the positive because there is always a positive side to everything.
Were you like this as a child?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
you were.
Naturally.
Okay.
Like my personality is that I am positive, grateful, everything humbles me, and I allow it to.
Very recently, I was talking to another entrepreneur who called this out because we both had very similar energies and personalities. Right. And she said something to me that I think you would so appreciate, which is you are a grateful and a humble person because of the experiences that you've been through that made you this way that you don't give yourself enough credit for.
Right. Yeah, I can appreciate that.
And so whatever it is that you've gone through, that's what shaped who you are today.
Yes.
You've always had it in you.
Yes.
But your experiences have made you a truly grateful and humble person.
Absolutely.
Right?
For sure.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I think that we are part nurture and part nature. Mm-hmm. I think you naturally are who you are. And then I think your experiences really either amplify it, right? Or molds it in a certain way. I'm the oldest child of 4 siblings.
Wow.
Right?
All girls? No.
No. I have 2 brothers and 1 sister.
Yeah.
And I am a nurturer. I definitely took on that role of being...
Because you're the oldest.
I was the oldest, very responsible, very accountable, but happy to do it. Yeah. I never resented it, right? Had lots of family around my whole life. Yeah. I have to give a credit to my father, who is he's so happy. He's so positive. Oh my
gosh. That's where you get it from.
Absolutely. Yeah. And he is like my best friend. Some of my customers will know him as like the delivery person. They love his personality. He is, if you get along with me, and sweeter. And definitely he played a huge role in my business. Yeah. There's no way I could have done this all on my own without help from my husband, my father, my family, my friends. Yeah. There's so many people who played such a role, but my dad definitely on days where I'm like, I need to go to Costco. he would go for me. He would deliver for me. He would help me immensely. So a huge shout out to him, but I definitely get a lot of that positive attitude and outlook from him.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh my, so, and also your husband encouraging you to open your business.
Absolutely.
Okay.
My husband, though, what he offered to me was a very supportive environment to do what I wanted. He said to me, you have the opportunity, you're not working. Yeah. You have the children, you're looking after them. Because he was working a full-time job. Yeah. He said, you have the opportunity to do whatever you want. Make it something special.
What a man.
Right? I know that opportunity is not always available for everybody. Some people do need to have that second income right away. I knew I wasn't going to make money right away. It was going to be a huge learning curve. Mm-hmm. So having that opportunity to really experiment and see, could I see this through? Could this work? Was great. He offered me a strong confidence backbone to fall on if it did not work out. Incredible. My husband offers as a positive, and it compliments me is that I'm a people pleaser and much of a yes person, and positive. He offers a critical point of view for so many things that I'm like,
that you don't see.
Exactly.
Yeah. A risk assessor.
Exactly. So I'll say, hey, this vendor quoted me this for boxes, let's say. And he'll be like, okay, did you accept it? And I'd say, well, I'm about to. He'd be like, why? Have you negotiated? Have you tried to see if there's a better option, better price point for how much you're buying? What if you buy more? And been able to really work with other businesses and figure out that, hey, you could always ask. If you don't ask
is free.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you don't ask, you'll never know. Asking is free.
Yeah.
So
and the worst thing people can say is no.
Exactly.
And generally they don't.
No, they don't. And if people really want to work with you because they see value in the partnership, they'll help you out. And if they honestly can't, they'll let you know. I always tell people, I would love to do this for you, but I really can't.
Yeah, it's not in my budget.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So being honest and open and asking and being critical and doing your research, that he's taught me a lot of that side of things, which has been great. So it really complements who I am.
Is he involved in the business at all? Because I think I've seen him when I was picking up my order once, and I saw this man who didn't really know what was happening.
Yeah, that's definitely him. He's at the front. He tries really hard because he wants to be helpful.
He does.
But he's like, I don't know
what's going
he'll
on.
get one of the girls, which is fine. So he's more of the back end. Really, to be honest, he's my sounding board for a lot of things. I'll ask him for his opinion. I'll ask him for advice. I do most of the admin, the back end of things, but when it comes to someone where I need like a sounding board, he definitely
he's
plays
a great sounding board.
He is, because he thinks so differently than I do.
Yeah. And so let's talk about something we had started talking about prior to us starting the podcast was you're such a force and a personality.
Yes.
And yet we don't really see that online. Do you want to tell people a little bit about that? Fear?
Absolutely. So we want people, and I've always wanted people to love the cheesecake and what they're buying. What you're spending your money on, I want you to love. Yeah. There was this fear that if people just loved me, that they would either give me reviews or come back just for me. Yeah. And I didn't want my personality to overshadow the product. I wanted Laila's Cheesecake to be all about the product.
The cheesecake.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's what I want people to know us for. Yeah. When people ask, why just cheesecake? I want them to remember us for cheesecake. I want the business to be known for the product and what it offers. I want you to walk in and anyone could be out front and you still have an incredible experience. It's as though I was there too, right? I also want people to feel like when they walk in that regardless if I'm there or not, that when they're coming in, they're getting the same service, they're getting the same cheesecake, and they're paying for a product they love. Yeah. I understand that we live in a world now where brand is important, and people do love to know the person behind the business, which I can appreciate because I also do like to know where am I spending my money?
For sure.
But I just never wanted me to overshadow or people to be like, I want Laila. I want people to be like, I want that cheesecake.
And people do, trust me.
That's the fear. That was the fear. But I do know now that people do love to talk with me when they see me at the store, which I also love. And they do love to know who I am, my background. Yeah. People love to share congratulations with me. And they love to say, hey, I love to see you doing well. Yeah. And that is a beautiful experience because I am part of a community.
Of course,
and the community loves the person behind the business, which I can appreciate and understand. But there was always that fear, especially when I started. Don't worry about who I am. Do you like the cheesecake?
What about that cheesecake, right?
Is the cheesecake good?
Yeah.
Because I wanted that to be the highlight and the star of the show.
Do you think that storytelling element where you would be a little bit more public would ever change?
Yes, I think it's slowly changing.
Okay.
I think I'm slowly getting out there a little bit more. I think, especially on my social media, I noticed that my reels that have me in it do exponentially well.
Yes. Yeah.
Even
same in my business.
right, same
Yeah.
thing. When you're talking, when there's a person talking, when there's a face that they
Yeah.
recognize, people love it.
Yeah.
So I think it's slowly changing because I feel like I have to. And I'm happy to do it and share it if people are enjoying it.
And gosh, what a bonus, because your personality is amazing. I think people, to your point, they buy who's behind the brand too. I think
Right.
that's really important to consumers
Absolutely,
nowadays.
absolutely.
And that you're a real person creating crafted products that you love. I think that's very special and rare.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think that they love the idea that it's handcrafted, and then they want to know who's crafting it, who's making this product, and who is Laila?
Yeah.
Because people will come and be like, "Are you Laila?"
Yeah.
And they ask my staff all the time. My staff's, "No, I'm not Laila," but it's so cute.
that's so funny. I think I've asked that too.
Yeah, no, and if you want to know, I'm happy to say.
You know, I think what it is too is that the reason why I went in and I was like, this one time was because you and I had just been emailing so many times up until 11:30 at nighttime trying to perfect my cheesecake.
Yeah.
And so I think people want to come in because they feel invested, like you've invested in their journey to
Yeah.
perfecting their cheesecake.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I just wanted to say thanks because you literally would be and guys, this is not sustainable. Nobody can expect Laila to just be emailing everyone at 11:30 at nighttime. What you currently do now.
I do. I have no timeline where I do or do not respond.
Yeah.
If I'm available and I see the email, I will always respond. Which it's a boundary thing that I maybe have to learn, which I know as an entrepreneur, when you own a business, it's really hard because you want to do as much as possible in the time that you
because
have.
tomorrow there'll be more too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you knock off your list now, it's easier for you the next day. But I find that I tend to have no boundaries, and it could be 1 a.m. and I'll still respond.
Yes, I do know this. Yeah, and she makes dreams happen. Even if she's sold out, you'll always
I'll
try
do my
your
best.
best
Oh
to
my
make
gosh,
it happen.
I'll always do my best.
Yeah.
Even if it's impossible, I'll just think in my head, how can I make this happen for this person? And if I can't, I'll always be in all honesty tell you I can't.
Yeah.
I'm slowly navigating towards my face being there. My face is on and TikTok and Instagram are growing my business
Yes.
still.
Yeah.
That's what started my small business from home with
Yeah.
Instagram. That's really how it grew. And then with TikTok and Instagram now, it's growing even more. People are coming in for the first time, even though I opened in 2021, saying, I just heard about you. And it really reminds you that there's a whole market of people who still don't know about you.
Yeah.
And that is an insane experience this year. It's been really fantastic. And that the reels and the social media has really impacted my business and the traffic that has come in.
Do you do all of that yourself, or do you have a company that helps you with that?
I do it all myself.
Wow.
Which is
Crazy.
a full-time job. How do I do it? Because it takes up so much time.
Yeah.
Especially because as the owner and the creator of the media posts,
Yeah,
you want it to be perfect.
for sure.
So you spend so much time, just like I used to spend so much time when I was baking alone.
Yeah.
I would spend so much time. If something didn't look the same as the last one, I would throw it out and I would do it all over again because that perfectionist in me. But you learn along the way that it is good. It is good enough. There's no such thing as perfect. You could redo it a million times over. But I do all my media posts on my own.
I grow it. What's your social following now on Instagram and TikTok?
I think it's on Instagram. It's 22,500.
It's crazy.
And TikTok, I started early this year with maybe 100 followers.
Yeah.
And organically, I've grown it to, I think it's at 3,500 now.
You just started this year too.
I just started posting to TikTok this year.
Yeah.
And that in itself has shown me the impact of posting.
Yes.
On TikTok. Posting consistently, I noticed, really helps.
Yes.
But TikTok has brought in so many people who are like, I have seen you on TikTok.
Yeah. Demographic, different generation.
Yes, different generation.
Yep.
It's such an interesting and beautiful experience because I'm getting so many new customers coming in who are coming in repeatedly now because they like it, which is always so special.
You hook them in with how do you create the content? What gives you idea and inspiration for the content?
So for sure, it's the menus that we have every week that we switch up. So it's the product itself.
Yeah.
It's experiences at the bakery where I'll say, hey guys, I should make a TikTok video on this. And they're like, you should.
Right.
And so I talk about it with staff. I'll show my staff the videos. I get their feedback. My staff is the age range varies from, we have Gen Z, I have a 16-year-old to like 50. So we have a wide variety of age groups there.
Incredible.
And so getting their perspective is huge.
Yes.
But really just in day-to-day conversations with them, even with customers, that's what inspires me. And then, of course, what I see on Instagram, what comes up in my feed. Other businesses are doing things that are so fun. How could I put my own spin on it? How can I make it unique to Laila's? So that is where I get my ideas.
You get creative,
I draw blanks and I'm like, what do I do?
Yeah.
So you do have moments where you're like, I am not creative. I don't have any ideas. And then there's some where I have 5 ideas.
Yeah.
So that's
smart.
Yes.
You are one smart cookie.
Thank you.
And is that where you guys came up with that new
Kanafa cheesecake chocolate bar?
Yeah.
That came about from the viral Dubai chocolate bar that's been taking the internet by storm forever now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure people are sick of it by now because it's been around for a while.
But it's weird. That's the first time I've seen it. Was that you?
So I've asked people if they've heard about it and they're like, no.
Yeah.
But then people are buying it from me. And basically it's just a chocolate bar that went viral in Dubai, and they stuffed the chocolate bar with, it's a pastry called kataifi. Okay. It's a Middle Eastern pastry that you mix with pistachio butter and some other things, and then you put it. So we do the cheesecake version, which takes up a lot of time. Because with the chocolate bar version, you put it in a mold. And there's a lot of time that goes into an effort for sure. Yeah. But with the cheesecake, we actually have to freeze the cheesecake.
Right. Because when you have the melted chocolate, you don't want to melt the
Exactly. So it's a whole process of this frozen cheesecake. We have the chocolate tempering machine, which is new for us as well. Yeah. But we have to dip it in there. We layer the top with the filling. Yeah. Then we dip it again. Then we package it. And it is a delicious dessert. People have been like, please don't ever take this off the menu.
So is it a keeper?
It's a keeper.
Okay.
I'm going to try to make it into a little gift box with different flavors for around Christmas time, I'm hoping. Yeah. But it has a world of textures and flavors that just go so beautifully together. And I can't stop eating it. And I'm like, I need to stop eating this. It is so good. We do a Biscoff version, a hazelnut version. We did the pistachio version, is my favorite. Yeah. But people have really been liking the Biscoff one so much. Yeah. So that one is definitely a keeper.
So, Laila, 22,000 people on Instagram. Yes. They aren't all from Burlington.
They're not.
Let's talk about that reach then. Do you know where your audience is? How do you serve people that are outside of Burlington?
I do. I have so many people who travel from the U.S., from other provinces, who are like, I have one customer who is so sweet. And she's like, when I landed from Calgary in Ontario, the first stop I asked was your store.
Oh my gosh.
And they'll take jars with them back home. I know people who see it in the US, or they're like, I'm here from Montreal, I'm coming by to get cheesecake. That's a beautiful experience. A lot of my clientele does come from Milton though, and Mississauga, and Hamilton. Mm-hmm. I have all those surrounding areas. And then I have people who are like, please come to Toronto. Please come out this way. I have people who drive from Brampton. I have people from all over because I do ask people, hey, how did you hear about us? When they tell me this is my first time, I ask, how did you hear about me? Yeah. It could be Instagram. It could be Google, which is really great. So if you search cheesecake on your phone, I come up as the first option, which is so amazing and exciting. I love it. And then they'll say, or I just asked around what the best place was, and that you came up. So I always ask people all those questions. How do you hear about us? Are you close by?
Yeah, and it's marketing gold. Marketing gold.
That's how I figure out what's working, what's not working. Yeah. And so a lot of my customers, again, Mississauga, Milton, Hamilton, Brampton. Yeah. So I've been searching for locations in the Mississauga area, and that is the goal, to hopefully have one open out there soon, because I have so much clientele out there. Yeah. There's a huge population there. I think that the product will speak for itself out there.
Yeah.
And I'm from Mississauga.
Are you originally?
Yeah, I grew up
born, raised Mississauga?
Yep, never moved from that one house that my parents still live in. I grew up in Mississauga, and so I'm familiar. I have so many friends, family there. It's a familiar place for me.
Yeah.
But I do have a huge reach there, and I would love to make all my customers there super happy.
Okay, so what's next for Laila's Cheesecake? What's next for Laila? Tell us some exciting things that are coming up.
So we are working on an app to help us get delivery options out there.
Great.
That's going to be a huge learning curve for me.
Yeah.
The thing about the cheesecake is that it's not something you can make that day and then give to someone that day.
Yeah.
Cheesecake needs to sit in the fridge for 24 hours. It
Yeah.
needs to set. So I have to make sure I'm making enough the day before for the next day.
Yeah.
So delivery is going to be a huge learning curve, but it's something that people have been begging for,
Yeah.
asking for, and that I need to get on. So that's first.
Cheesecake on demand.
I know. They want to have
Yes.
it. They're like, I really got to figure this out. So that's one thing. So we're working on an app that will give our clients that option.
Okay.
And then opening a second location, and then hopefully a third. I want to open 2 more for sure.
Okay.
And that's going to be a learning curve. So if I disappear from the front for a little bit and you
Yeah.
don't get to see me, that's
You're
why. So I'm
busy.
busy. So
Yeah.
that is going to be the next big steps.
Okay.
And huge. I always say I've never mastered my business. Anytime I introduce something new, anytime there's a step forward,
Yeah.
I'm relearning the business all over again.
Yeah.
So I'm always learning and adjusting. And so this is exciting and it's
Gosh.
new and it gives me all the feels for growth, but I'm so excited for it. And I hope that I'm able to reach more people and give them what they want, which is cheesecake.
Cheesecake. Layla's Cheesecake.
Yes.
I love that you told me before that your daughter uses it as a weapon at school.
She does. She will.
You can't have cheesecake today, Sally. Guess what?
Exactly.
Yeah.
She'll say, no cheesecake for you today. And I'm like, but you don't actually have cheesecake. And she's the sassiest little 7-year-old ever. She's adorable. And she loves cheesecake. It's part of her identity too.
For sure. And do your kids love the business?
Oh my gosh, they love it. My
Yeah.
oldest is always, don't sell the business. Sell it to me. And I'm like,
She
okay.
wants to
She
take it
wants to
over.
take it over.
Oh, my
I feel like
heart.
that's her retirement plan.
That's her retirement plan.
She's like, give me the business.
My
It's so
gosh.
cute. They love it. They
Do
love
they
it.
help make cheesecake?
You know what? They don't, but they try to they like to think they do.
Yeah.
When they're at the store and they come out front, I'm like, you can't be there.
Yeah.
You know, like that's labor. Like that's child labor. I can't have you.
yeah.
And they're just, but we just want to say hi. Like, they are so cute.
Behave.
And I've let them cash people out a few times just for fun. And the customers are like,
They love it. Yeah.
They are so sweet. They are so sweet. And they definitely are the little girls behind the cheesecake business because they inspire me and they
Yeah.
motivate me. And so how I respond and react to every situation and everything that happens in the business,
Yeah.
I keep in mind these little girls are watching, which also obviously does play a role in why I try to be so positive about it.
100%.
Absolutely.
My parents were entrepreneurs.
Were they?
Yeah. And it gives me the drive and the humility and the work ethic. And that's what you're giving your girls, which is incredible.
Absolutely, because we learn that.
Yeah.
And I think that it's such a beautiful thing to watch your role models because as children,
Yeah.
your parents are your role models.
Absolutely.
Whether you want it to be the case or not,
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah.
You mimic them.
Yeah.
And so that's why I always say that's very important. One thing my parents always did for me, especially my mom, was she always encouraged me to do everything. There was nothing she thought I couldn't do. She always
Great.
encouraged me
Yeah.
to do as much as possible.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the ambition comes from. The thought that, hey, I can
can do
accomplish
it.
it. It's just, I can get it done.
Yeah, that's such great advice, I think, to moms with their kids because the mindset of what you feed them is
Absolutely.
really important.
It becomes their
right?
self-talk too.
Totally.
Right? It
Right. Their
does.
talk track. Yeah.
Exactly. Can I do it?
Yeah.
I'm good enough. I can do it. If any other person can do it, why can't I do it?
Right. I love that. So, what I like to do at the end called Get to Know Your CEO.
Okay.
Are you a beach vacation person or a mountain resort person?
Beach.
Beach all the way?
100%.
Me too.
Yes. The
Me
sun
too.
is beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
Why would I want to be cold?
I know. The winters are very hard here.
Exactly.
Right? I love it. What is one thing you just can't live without?
Honestly, when I think about something I can't live without, it's coffee.
Coffee.
I mean, I love
First thing in the morning.
I love my people. So
Yeah.
we're talking about objects here, right?
Things. We're talking about things.
So
Yeah.
coffee,
Coffee.
100%. And this is not a plug, but my husband roasts coffee.
Yeah.
And I gave you a bag of
Yes.
beans.
I
They're
have
fresh
it.
beans, and I drink that coffee from Blackwell Brews every morning. The Antihero one is so good. Can't live without my morning coffee.
Yeah.
If someone disrupts that, I am not the same person.
Yeah, you are not nice. I'm not nice.
That first sip brings me so much joy. I don't know. Do you feel that way about coffee? I don't know.
I do.
I almost feel like it's an addiction.
You know what? There were times where I couldn't drink coffee, but now I'm back to it where it has to be the first thing that hits my mouth because I'm not a morning person. It takes me a while to wake up.
No,
right?
I am a morning person.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm the most productive and get so much in the morning. People are like, why are you so happy in the morning?
Yeah.
But I still need my coffee.
What's your favorite cheesecake flavor?
Ooh, blueberry. That started the business.
Really?
Was the blueberry cheesecake.
Okay.
And I never was a fruity cheesecake person because I didn't like the pie filling topping.
It was
like very jello-y.
Starchy.
Yeah, very jello-y. I was like, no. But this one, I could eat it all day.
It's
every
really
day.
good.
It's so good.
It's fluffy.
Yeah, it's
fluffy.
so good.
What's your go-to comfort food?
Ooh. I love hamburgers and fries.
Do you?
It's my favorite thing ever.
My God.
If I want to feel good while I'm eating, I'll get a burger and fries.
I'm surprised you aren't like 800 pounds, by the way.
I don't know.
Cheesecake every
I don't know
day?
how.
Yeah.
I mean,
because you're like running around.
I'm running
all day.
around and chasing my kids and running around at the business. Definitely. I do not sit when I'm at the store. I only sit when I'm at home to do work. But at the store, I'm running around. But I do love a good burger and fries.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
So good.
So good. It's really good.
Amazing.
What's your favorite comfort food?
Wings. I just just give me a pile of wings or noodles. I just love any type of.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah, when
noodles
people are
good.
like, when you're on death row and you get your last meal.
True, yes.
What would it be?
Yeah, it would be a hamburger and fries. 100%.
Mine would be like an assortment of different noodles in small bowls.
Oh my God, I love this.
That would be my favorite.
Oh my
and
God.
people make fun of me for this because my
that's
love for noodles is very deep.
It's
you know?
delicious.
Yeah.
Like noodles. Anything carbs.
Thank you for validating me.
Anything carbs. Why does everything that's just not good for you taste so good? Why can't it be the other way around?
I know.
You know?
Celery just doesn't hit the same way.
It
but
does
I'll just
not.
eat
I mean,
it,
it's good.
You know?
It just doesn't, it's not like fries.
No. Or noodles. I
Why?
love it. Well, thank you so much, Laila, for coming today and sharing your story. I think you're such a talented person as a cheesecake connoisseur. I think it's also your passion that really drives that business. You can find Laila on Laila Cheesecake Co. on Instagram, as well as TikTok, as well as on their website, which we'll all put in the show notes link. We're also very excited to do a cheesecake giveaway on Instagram, so look out for that. And just thank you so much for your energy.
This was amazing. This was my first podcast, and it was so fun. I felt like I was just having a coffee break with someone and just chatting. Thank you so much for having me. I truly appreciate the opportunity to talk and share. And I encourage everyone, if they have any questions on a business level, they can always email me. They can send me a message on Instagram. I'm happy.
She will answer.
I will answer you.
She will answer, no matter at what time of the night.
So feel free, and maybe we can do this again.
Yes. You know what? We'll do it once you open up your shops and your businesses grow.
Yes.
Let's revisit, you know,
because it's going to be a different Laila then.
For sure.
It's going to be a different Laila, different Laila's Cheesecake.
Yeah. Maybe a Laila's Cafe.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Maybe a Laila's restaurant.
Things. Yes.
Laila International. I'm here for it.
Goals.
I am here for all of it.
For sure. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Thanks for tuning in to the Fearless Entrepreneur podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. For more insights and resources to help your business grow, visit evolveconsultingco.com. Let's continue to turn entrepreneurial dreams into reality. Hang around for our next episode where we feature another bold Canadian entrepreneur. Until next time, stay fearless.